I am not a financial advisor. These videos are all meant for educational purposes only. All Complete Trader Academy videos are my personal opinion and perspective. Trading carries a high level of risk, and all results are your own responsibility. Please always demo first. Hey everybody, welcome back to CT Review. Today is October 18, Saturday, 2025. This video is going to be obviously for Friday and for the week and for, in general. Wanted to make this video only because for the fact that there were some things that I missed. Well, I've said it, but I didn't go back and show it. For example, it'll be this right here. If you look here personally here, what's it called? I said there's no bodies here. So, and I meant to do this last week, and I don't know, out of whatever. But as you see here, no bodies, just a wick there. So we treat wicks as gaps, obviously. And we'll get into a little bit of that conversation, but this was the point. And as you can see, there's a body here now, right? Obviously, we don't have a bullish body in this opening gap of this week, which made it really tough to understand where the price was going to go. That's why I would have liked to have seen maybe like a Tuesday close. Anyway, I won't get into that, but this was the point. If you've been watching the video, I've been saying this for a long time. I was saying it here. Actually, I think I said it when it happened. But, now they have a body here. Anyways, that's just a little tidbit. So I wanted to really mention that. That's for sure. Number two, the other reason why I want to make this video. Okay, so just to kind of go over the week, here's more of the speaker here. Excuse me. See this price action here? All that. And then from that open, right there, because that low takes out that low. So you could see, you can see it now, obviously, but it's fractal. So, when we were having these speakers here and in here, it just helps understand kind of what the flow is and possibilities are, especially after taking liquidity. So I didn't do the Friday's video, obviously, right? So real quick, we sold off yesterday, Thursday, and then we pushed down, we broke that low. That was a lower high. I said that we would, if you look at the example of me drawing, I said we'd pop in and then we'd push down. And then I would assume coming down here. But here in this case, you will see that, that they don't have to offer it to you, but we came to that upper quadrant again. Okay. Upper quadrant again, getting visited, taking out that low. And then, what's it called? Right here, you'll see on the weekly, where is it? Oh, here. So there's a gap in there, so I'll include that. And, oh my God, come on. I'm going to drag it out. Okay. Right there. So that's, let me kind of fix this. I don't know why. So right here, you see, I just drew that. Coming right back to that low, and we're tapping that weekly bullish imbalance. There's one in between. There's a gap in here, so I have to include that. Here's the old weekly that's also on there. That's when we sank to hell here, right? And we closed on the 50 perfectly. Okay, we just came up for a breakout on the daily and weekly, and we're coming back for it. And obviously, seasonality will get the low and in the first week or two of October or the fall, and then we try to push up. But again, we were naturally bullish. But okay, let's continue. So you can see here that we're knocking on that originally right there, right? I didn't mention this in some weeks, and then in the video this week in fucking Tuesday. But we come and we visit it again here. Okay, so now that we've got that, I'm gonna again. You want to see bodies above these levels, right? Like just like this body that came at 50%. You notice how we didn't seal it. Notice how we still closed here and then we gapped up. That's a bullish signature, and the same idea is going on here. So now that I've mentioned that, okay, I wanted to make sure I mentioned that real quick. You'll see. I'm gonna delete these guys right here just real quick. Pushed up, and then pretty much double, triple top, and then we Why don't I have? I'm tripping. I had the projection here. Remember, I deleted it. Oh god, I'm making this long for nothing. Well, let's see. What time frame was this? Did I do it? You see the last up and then break here. You can see 3.5 to 4 here. This is not how I did it originally, but let's see. Was it this swing here? The swing looked good here. This is also a move from this high, and then we broke that. I thought it was on another time frame that I did this. I could probably do it on the. Well, let's go with this high and this break. Yeah, I think that's what I did. I'm tripping. Yeah, look at that. Come on, man. That's worth the wait right here. Look at the 2 to 2.5. Look at the -2. That's 2 standard full deviations negatively. Right? Look at the low. It's like, points below, man. So, anyways, that's pushing down, right? And then I talked about this quadrant here. All right, this quadrant of measuring the whole range and dividing it into quadrants, right? And then I have this projection up here on this hourly. Look where we get to the 2 to 2.5. Look at the 2 to 2.5 right there. Look at almost to the high right there. And we're digging in. We're digging in, up, digging in and retracing back. Here, I measured, by the way, if you watch Thursday's video, you'll see that I measured, originally I had these two 15-minute candles. Let me zoom it out a little bit. See the 15-minute candles if you watch the video. Then I switched it to the low and the high, which I pretty much should have. But when I keep it in the actual bodies, I'm doing it for a more near-term refined scenario, right? But anyways, that's an external low, and that's an external high, so we're using that, and then it broke through. You can see we have 1 and 1.5 here. We come in, we retrace back. We get into the 2 to 2.5. We retrace back into the 1 and 1.5. But you got lower, low, lower, high. Obviously, some drives there. Breaks down. Boom. Where's it go? Look at a -3.5 to 4 right here. Right? See that? So on Friday, we break down, and it's a classic buy day. Why? Because Asia just consolidates, pushes down, an expansion, and then we had an expansion. So this was telling me, this shit right here, this U right here, see this? V, see this? That's a see that balanced price range? That's an expansion with an expansion. So that automatically tells me I'm going to go into a consolidation, expansion, retracement, expansion for Friday. So that's to tell me that I knew we were bullish. Yes, do we have open wide agenda here? Yeah, but the thing is that they know you want to get in there. They know it. I'm not saying we can't fucking go in there, but I'm just saying, look how, now I don't have this quadded, but look how S&P, they initially came to the 50. Then they came down to the lower quadrant. Imagine this is quadded, right? This is the 25%. Notice how they came to their 25%. Okay. Well, what did Dow do? Where is Dow? They also came to their 50%. Okay. On what day was that for them? That was Tuesday, right? And what the hell's going on here? Oh, this is flipped backwards. And on Tuesday they came to their 50. And for us, we came to the 25. If you remember me outlining the scenario. Anyways, then Dow came to their maybe they didn't hit the 25, but they hit the top of that all week gap. Anyways, it's a breakout area. That's a breakout level. They're people who they're pushing by here. They're coming back, right? And it's you call it support, you call it inducing more buyers, and so on. And that's just really the logic of it. And notice the bodies are all in the upper quadrants, so that's showing strength. All right, so Friday, go back to Friday because this video is the point is to do Friday. As you see here, we popped up to 2.5. We sold back off. We got the speaker here going on. 3.5. I'm waking up to this. It's sitting on the quadrant already. And this is going to be for your notes. This is going to be one of the fierest things you'll hear in general in analysis. But we look at imbalances. We look at blocks, support blocks, resistance blocks, demand blocks, supply blocks, order blocks, whatever. We look at wicks as gaps, and then they get referred to as quadrants when we quad them, and we expect to see price action respect these levels, and you will have your high probability imbalances and ones to use, or whatever entry method you're using. They want to be nested and overlap on those quadrant levels. So it's just like when I was saying about when I quadded this here, we came to the 25. We came back for a 25. Generally, you won't see it come back to a 25 again. But when we came above the 50 and then we came to the 75, we're coming to the 75 here. Yeah, we have understanding of breakout levels and imbalances, but notice how Thursday comes back down into that 25. The best buying is underneath that. Then what? We get to the 50. I'm just dragging it over. See the 50 here? We were already at an equilibrium, and the best buys are happening underneath the 50. And the point of what I was saying was, where is this imbalance located? Where is this? This is an hourly chart. Where was that imbalance located? It's underneath the 50. You see that? So go back test this, use it on your 1 minute, whatever, intraday, whatever, long term, whatever. The point is that we were digging into an hour imbalance. We have a change of delivery here. See these consecutive down candles? We had closed above that. So now we're going to have some super hard manipulation. This was super bogus the way they did this. But if you understood that the imbalance on this hourly chart, we were digging into it. Look where they're hitting. It's if I had quadded this, you'll see that it's sitting at the top 25%. Do I need to do that? Maybe I could do it real quick. Just so I don't. I know this is on a weekly chart. That's fine. We'll just do this and then this. All right, and then I'll move it over. You see that, right? That's sitting on the top quadrant level. When you're bullish, you want to see the top quadrant respected. Even if this was a 1 minute chart, you don't want it to hit 50. If it hits 50, that's fine. And that's a normal bullish market. But if it's in the top quadrant, okay, then that's exceedingly bullish. And this is not something new. We talk about this all the time. We've mentioned this years ago even. But just to remember and remind, and there's new people here and blah, blah, blah. If it seals it, we don't want to see it fully sealed. That doesn't really give me the strength, the confidence that it's going to be a fully bullish scenario, but it can seal it. And that's what we had here on the 4-hour chart. I'm going to delete this real quick, that thing. Where was more? Okay, so real quick, recapping. We're selling off here. Okay, we get to a 3.5 to a 4. We get to a -2 standard deviation on the Asia range. We're sitting at the top 25 quadrant, and everybody else has also hit theirs, so wherever they landed. This is an expansion. When you get this U-shaped expansion back, that's a reversal. Okay, you have a shift of market structure right there, right? Then I have this. This was just intraday. I have this to 3.5 to 4. There's a lot I can talk about, but just looking at it, and if you were sitting here, are we bullish or bearish? Well, in a perfect scenario, yeah, you want to see it come and seal this, but it's not probable. Why? Because we're still bullish. And we have a lot of liquidity right here to run. Guess what? They don't give a fuck about this. There's no liquidity down here. That's not on their agenda. They don't care. They have all this right here to then want to come attack. Okay, that's number one. Number two, that expansion with expansion, you already see the reversal. Okay, so when you go from that phase of reversal, Now after expansion, you either going to get a retrace to another expansion, or you're going to get a consolidation to expand, then retrace, then push back up. And that's pretty much what we got right here. So see that? And then if I'm going into detail, also when we were down here, look at the 4 hour. This is what I wanted to say before I forget my train of thought. That last down candle, remember, this is a swing here. Okay, look at the swing. You got low, lower low, higher low. So that's the lowest low. That's the swing. What candle is that? That's the 6 to 10 o'clock. So that's already in an expansion phase. So you already have a push up. What is the next candle going to do? That's going to be the 10 o'clock candle. The 10 o'clock candle, look what it does. You expect it to be an expansion, but it retraced first. But look what it does. It comes and it seals that entire previous candle's breakout body. Look right there. I'm talking from that low to that high. You can see that, right? It seals it. That right there. And that's the fuckery, by the way, of these equal lows. You're like, why didn't it take the equal low? Because it was 100% retracement. Okay, take a look here. You see, we immediately rebalanced that. When you have an immediate rebalance like that, that means it's exceedingly bullish, right? And that's one signature of it, all right? And that says it all. And then it expands the rest. To do what? Well, you have all this imbalance and breakout level and liquidity there. And we're bullish. And look at the bodies. The bodies can't even sit on a 4 hour. They can't even sit on that top quadrant. So it's just, there's your swing. And then anyways. But going back to this fuckery, again, this was inside an hourly imbalance. Don't get lost with all this, all right? Because this was bogus. The way they did this was super bogus. But what is it? Why? How is it bogus? Because it was 100% retracement. This is something that you rarely see. This is more for forex people. You'll see this more on Dow. How I know this? Because I used to see this a couple times on Dow. It is not, and I repeat, it is not normal. It is super manipulated. Oh shit, what did I just do? Wait, what the fuck just happened? I'm tripping. Why can't I get a... Okay, let me go back to this. I meant to do this. Okay, cool. See this last low right here? Remember, we're in the upper quadrant of this. All right, if I drew it, you obviously would see it, right? I don't need to do this. You know, I'm gonna make this video long by accident. I swear to God. As you can see, we're tagging that top 25%. Boom, 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 right? Okay, that being said, also, I'm just going to delete it just for visual references, right? You saw that. And I'm even going to delete this too. But the point is that look at the low here. I mean, let me make this cleaner here. Look at the low here. See this low here? See that guy right there? These are equal lows here, right? And it's this, what's the lowest body of these candles right there, right? The lowest wick that has a body, but that's a lower wick. So you got to use that instead. But notice we don't break that low. Okay. So when we came up, we had 930, we had a shakeout. So a little speaker there, right? So we came down first, wiped the liquidity, pushed up, sold, took out their liquidity. Came down, wiped out that liquidity. Okay, cool. Does not take out these lows. This is also 100% retracement. But I'm going to show you on this side. You don't know where you're going here, but take a look. This is where the sign is of we're already inside a 1 hour imbalance. On the 15-minute, you can't see it, but we already tapped in. Like on a 15-minute, you'll see like this will be a refined bullish imbalance, and you'll see that we right there, you'll see over here, we're tagging the top of it. That's exceedingly bullish. That's to show you it's not even willing to go inside it. All right, and that's the logic of the conversation and what I'm sharing with you. So then here, look at this price action right here. We had this little inversion imbalance, this bearish one. Notice how they had this look at the characteristics of this price action. Look at the wicks. Look at the bodies. They're pushing up for higher lows. And you might think, oh, that's just to induce me to buy. Yeah, it is. But at the same time, when you see a push up like that with these candles, it's 947 and 48. It's strong. It's gone. And that the inversion, it's already closing above it right there. It's already a bullish scenario because we have a speaker going on. Now we want to go on the top side of it, right? Once we do that, I'm going to move this over just to the left a little bit. Once we do that, remember, I just gave you the understanding that we were an expansion here with an expansion here, right? So we have a little consolidation here, and then here we go. This does not take out that low, and if it's a consolidation and then turning into an expansion, you want to see a raid. But guess what? They didn't do the raid. But the flow is still there. Okay. But you have a raid underneath this swing low. So that was all you needed. And plus this price action. Okay, follow this because I'm not even getting to where I want to get to yet. But after that, you want to see an expansion. Here's an expansion. And guess what? You get a push up. Here's the first imbalance today of the 934. You got to include the gaps. That's a suspension block as well. So it's very key to be used. Pushes up. Look at his down candle. Comes down inside and then respects pretty much the whole area, right? But then expands. This is a low to a high. Retraces back to that first imbalance. 50% if you do a range, right? Let me just do it this way since it's already here. Oh, it didn't come to a 50. Oh, no. Yeah. Sorry. Comes to a 50 there. It's laying on top of that. This is all mathematics, obviously. I'm going to go back to this real quick and move it over. Just don't get lost here. And then you'll see that we come back in. We get a push up. We get a push back. Pretty much inside this bullish imbalance right here. All right, and then this is a leg from here to here, right? So this whole swing is that expansion after that consolidation. After an expansion, what do you see? A retracement. But this is 100% retracement, and it's not perfect, but it is 100% retracement. Before I get back to there, let's keep going. I'm not even going to get into the gaps real quick. The all week gaps, but we pushed up, we had an expansion. You can see the consecutive candles. This is just like if it was a reversal to come back down, like when it's bearish candles. Okay, so we came in. We also have the yesterday's PM session. I don't think I drew that, which is, I'm talking Thursday. I don't think I drew the PM sessions, but that's it right here. That's that first imbalance of the PM session right there. And we pop up, and then we have this last up candle here. And then we have a bearish imbalance right here. See that? Just right there. Very easy. Okay. And then we come in and we tag up. We tag inside it. Body's staying generally in that first half of the bearish imbalance. Okay. And then we're also being used with that first imbalance from the PM session. Not that necessary, but just so you can see it more cleaner. All right, and then I have this bullish imbalance right here as I expect it to be as an inversion if it's going to sell off. Now remember, if this was a reversal and now we're coming back down, that's possible. But in the big scheme of the macro seasonality, you are more inclined to be bullish. But take a look at this perfection here. You can see the 50%. We're tagging it there. We're tagging it there. We came underneath this swing low. We broke. Let me close this. So that we broke right there, and then we have this. We have also this bearish imbalance right here. This 1034. We do tag it to the 50%. This is a sharpshooter refine area. We have the gap here of the last week that's in the gray. We have the inversion here that's in the blue. We already came underneath it. That's a break right here as well. and then we're digging into it. And look how the bodies all stay inside the gap and the lower half or quadrant of the bullish imbalance, but we just wick and dig and reference that little right there. It's a little breakout area and all that. So we're dragging back down, okay? We're dragging back down, and then let me move this back over, and then you'll see that this is what I meant, like that when it comes to like 100% retracement. I mean, you can see it right there, right? So why am I circling this right here? Because of the fact that it's only going to do two things here. It's either going to break, it's either going to buy, if it's bullish, it's either going to buy from above that low or it's going to buy from below that low. Speaking bullish, what's the other option? It blows through and then you get these lower low, lower high, and now we're coming for that low. But you're not getting that here. And where did you see that? With this, especially with these two candles right here. You should not see a bullish response that hard. But this is your 100% retracement. Again, very rare. I mean, I'm talking about, I think I've seen this maybe 5 times in my life in trading. Maybe. And I'm just going to say that conservatively. I'm just guessing right now, but I can't remember the last time I've seen it. So that's what that is, right? So now I hope that all makes sense. And then on the kicker for all that was that was a higher low for NAS. And look at S&P and Dow, they swept that lows, right? Just pertaining more to S&P. They swept it, and that candle pushes up. It's not a body. There's no strength. It's just going back up. And that's explaining that right there, right? Fuckery. Super bogus, okay? Super bogus, because who the fuck wants to buy that, right? But it's just the way it is. And let me just move forward so I can be done, because this is probably long. Okay, so we mentioned that here. And then, by the way, I'm measuring these up candles, and then you can see -1 right there, right? You see that, how we're getting to it? My circle's perfect, right? See that? So, and then, let me move forward back to that first imbalance. We pop up, and then here's your other reasoning. You get a shift of market structure, strong. Look at that first imbalance of Friday of today. Speaking, look at no bodies underneath. Strength digs in, stops, buys back, buys from there for what? A new high. Because now, guess what? So you have let's just keep it simple. You have your consolidation. So this was also a possible sell model, right? Where you have a sell model, you have a consolidation, you have a push up, you have a low risk buy, you have accumulation 1, accumulation 2, and here's your finale, and then it retraces back. You have a low risk entry for the sell. Then you have an accumulation 1. You can even say this was your accumulation 2, and even a third one. And then you want to come and take out and hunt that liquidity. Yes, the sell model does not have to take out the original consolidation or the lows. So it just can come in, and that will tie into this understanding, right? But anyways, after the retracement, what do you get? If you're bullish, you get an expansion. Expansion here comes up. All right. Fuckery. Here's the signal that it's going to keep going up. Look at these equal highs right here. Again, equal highs, right? Well, in this, we have direction. We have already flow. You're going to say, well, you had equal lows here, right? And we came in and we didn't attack it. Well, we're bullish. We have this right here. This price action right here. Forget everything else. This price action right here is telling you the story right there, in general speaking. And then you have the equal highs here. We get a retracement back. I mean, man, I can't even get into it too much, but you'll see that we have an imbalance on that 15-minute, and we're digging in right there. See that? So we're digging into it. We're in the upper quadrant, right? That's a good sign of being bullish. Okay, and I was gonna say something else. I can't go into it too much, but it's just a retracement, right? and then what? Another expansion, right? And then before I'm done here, when I was talking about those gaps, the gaps of the wicks and finding the best imbalances and blocks to trade off of, you'll see that they're happening on these quadrant levels, and that's how you know they're high probability. For example, I don't know, like let's just say this last change of delivery here. You can see these candles, all bearish candles. Notice how we come up and we close above right there. And then this next candle, this 424 in the morning, bounces on that upper quadrant level, but it's also bouncing on these consecutive down candles. Right? And that's an example of what I meant. It's happening right on there. That's not a coincidence. You can also look at this when it comes to well, you just go do the back testing. Just go do the back testing. So because I wanted to go already. It's 30 minutes. So yeah, I think that's good. And then let's go real quick. And dollar came down a lot, but we did have I did mention about this gap here getting close to it. There's an imbalance there. You'd have to really see it push up for it to be bullish. Otherwise, I don't know. I think this is just going to roll over and be bearish again. I've already mentioned that. And then we already talked about Dow. It came back up to squeeze. No bodies here. Notice there's no bodies here. So looks like it's going to resume. But a shakeout and S&P. Because at one point it almost looked like, okay, this was a break here, but this was just this range. If you look at this range here, internal, but it almost looked like a lower high to lower low as a break here to then lower high. So that's the question: how are we going to open up this week? Again, seasonality rise, we're still bullish, so it should probably go for this liquidity right here. See how these lower highs right here, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. They've built those, and then they're going to ram it, right? And that's what I should say in general. But the other flip side of looking at it is lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And if you see, if you start seeing that, then that's a different conversation. But again, we just still got to stick with being bullish. So there's nothing else I can say. Am I missing something here? So we expanded here, and then now, last thing I'll say was these bodies here. I'm going to measure on the 4 hour, those consecutive 4 hour. Oh boy, those 4 hour projection right there. Look how we came to the -1 for the high of Friday. Look at that. Is it it's not exact, but it's fucking damn near. You see that? And that's what, see that change in delivery? And then we close here and push up. I mean, you can literally put your entry here, right? And then your stop loss 50%, underneath 50% of it, and then came up to this -1. Don't get lost with the Asia next to it. I'll move it over. So, and that's all we were doing. We were digging back in, right? But that hour, that said it all. See, you can see it, right? You can see the shift right there in the expansion with the expansion, right? Down to the -1. You guys take care. God bless.